Hello and welcome to Most Haunted. This week I've brought you to London and to a place that has many ghost sightings, from dark shadows to children playing. Many staff members are so terrified they leave and absolutely refuse to return. With all this in mind, I just had to bring you to the London Dungeon.
Situated on the south side of the Thames, the area around London Bridge was one of the earliest settlements to exist in the capital. What little history that is known of this immense building confirms that these railway arches supported London's first passenger railway line, before more recently serving as a stable block, wine cellar and possibly an orphanage. What is clear, though, is that the area surrounding the Tooley Street site gained notoriety for many illegal acts. From a 17th century site for bear, dog and cockfighting to a 21st century tourist attraction that offers a visual history of the capital's past.
Well, here we are in what's for me one of the strangest places, because the whole of this place, the London Dungeons, is, for want of a better word, a fake. It's all been reconstructed. But from 1836, these were nothing more than railway arches. But before that, there were various things like coaching inns, brothels, and a phenomenal amount of trauma, I would imagine, that went on in this area. So there's bound to be ghosts.
This is the pre-plague area where the apparition of a man and two children are seen on a regular basis, and then they mysteriously disappear.
In the 1500s, St. Thomas More and Thomas Cromwell decided it was time for an English version of the Bible. And here, on this very spot, where the London Dungeons stand now, this is where that edition of the Bible was first created.
This is the execution dock, and it's also a boat ride. Now, many people that take the ride feel uneasy. They feel that eyes are upon them and they're never quite on their own. They also experience unexplained whistling noises.
In those days, of course, the word hospital had a different meaning. It was a place of hospitality. Infirmaries were for the sick. But by the time of Henry VIII, this place had a ward or dormitory for unmarried mothers, and also treated hundreds and hundreds of prostitutes with all sorts of sexually transmitted disease. Henry VIII had this place closed down. He referred to it as a bawdy house and had it wiped off the face of the earth.
There are many strange occurrences here in the mortuary area. Many people report being pushed by unseen hands. They also report seeing these two mannequins move on their own. And strangely enough, two of our crew members are saying that they have actually experienced something similar. But perhaps the most disturbing apparition is a third man, not a mannequin. He appears between these two waxwork dummies and looks up and down this unfortunate body.
During the Second World War, these arches, Stainer Street and Tooley Street, were used as air raid shelters, and there was a direct hit by a German bomb on this area, and they believe that up to 67 people actually died. Some of those people, some of their bodies, were never found, and they believe that they're actually still behind some of the brickwork here.
Many people have witnessed the tall, dark, shadowy shape of a man, closely followed by a Victorian dress, moving quickly and disappearing around corners, as though being chased. People have also heard the sounds of children crying, although the dungeons are closed to the public. They've also seen children playing Ring-a-Ring-a-Roses in this, the Jack the Ripper area.
So we are faced with an intriguing investigation. This is not a happy environment, yet none of the related horror is at all linked to the building. Recreations of rivers of death, witch trials and Jack the Ripper simply bear no factual relation to the dungeons. And that's a scenario that particularly interests parapsychologist Kieran O'Keefe.
Kieran, the London Dungeons has to be one of the more unusual places to investigate.
Yeah, it is a parapsychologist's nightmare because there's so much history here in exhibit form. You've got a lot of suggestion, so there's a great expectancy of what you might see here, and it's a nightmare to try and separate that from true apparitions or true experiences that people have, but at the same time it's an exciting and fascinating place.
If you were to walk around here, what would be the first thing that would come to you? What sort of presence would be here in this particular place?
It's instantly a very, very negative place. There's so much nastiness, so much evil, torture, blood, gore. So instantly you're going to come up with a nasty, evil person. And so if you associate all of the stereotypes with that evil person, it's going to be a man, it's going to be a mysterious man, it's going to be somebody dressed in black, presumably. All of these different things I'd expect a medium to come up with.
And of course, in the history books, this place never was a torture chamber.
No.
It never was a dungeon. So, again, that'll be very interesting.
Yeah, it's a great place. There's a lot of information here around about the torture, about Jack the Ripper. And purposely, we've left that information up, because it's not actually associated with this place. These are just exhibits that have been set up. So we're not giving anything away to the mediums. If they come up with anything about Jack the Ripper, then like I said, it may be this thought form or sci-field theory that I talked about, or they may be just reading too much into the information that's around them.
Unfortunately, this particular investigation was disturbed by several peripheral audibles. Most notably, London's railways, noisy boilers, as well as Kieran's EMF meter, which regularly emits a high-pitched tone, all of which contributed to some inferior recorded sound. But whether they yet know it or not, the facade behind this week's location does represent a real test for the psychic powers of our spiritualist mediums Derek Acora and David Wells. With reenactments of some of the London's bloodiest crimes surrounding us, we nervously and expectantly headed underground and into the maze that is the London Dungeon.
This area now, there's a lot of noises, sounds that would be heard in this area. A lot of them, not just one. I feel a mixed array of noises. I feel you'd also hear screaming, and also I get a tinge of, you know, like a young child, children screaming, and no laughter. I don't pick up any laughter. It's misery. You know, a lot of the misery that's down in these levels that were caused by man, inflicted to man, woman and children. It's not a cover-up, but it's like saying, ha, talk about the plague, talk about the plague. It's not the plague at all. The misery that's down here is being inflicted by man. And the plague is not in fitting with this dwelling, this building. The plague is not. So what does that mean, Sam? It's like saying, if there are stories talked about plague in this area and what have you, it wasn't prevalent at all. It wasn't. What is written for a reason. The plague was not as prevalent as what in this area.
Okay.
Right.
There's a dummy here of a female, and you know, this is, I don't know, to me, this here, and the way what has been shown.
Did you just make a funny
not by a
noise then?
knife.
What sort of noise? What sort of noise did you hear?
I know that.
You can hear the door creaking
No, it's
slightly.
not that noise. I feel really embarrassed.
I might have heard the
What noise?
Right,
did
can
you-
I just explain this?
Yeah,
It sounded like a.
I heard this similar.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
There's a dummy here of a female, and you know, this is, I don't know, to me, this here, and the way what has been shown,
Did you just make a
it's
funny
not by a
noise then?
knife, but it's depicting who he would be, and he would definitely be the man, the infamous, you listening, Jack, are you? And that is definitely the man who took away many lives in the close area here. It's got to be close here.
Are you referring to Jack the Ripper?
Yeah, absolutely.
But why would Jack the Ripper be here?
Because I feel his energies, he'd be coming in, he's not grounded, he comes in visitation. I feel it's because close by, he knows that this particular dummy, if you like, is depicting one of his victims, the victims that he slaughtered, the womenfolk. And I feel that very close by, he comes in because close by, he's taken at least one, if not two, of his victims not far from here. I'm not saying here at Ivy, but close by. And, you know, he comes in through this perverse way or knowledge, I feel, that what is depicted in this building is 2 of his slaughtered ladies.
Did you just go...
I heard that.
I did not.
I heard that.
That what is depicted in this building is 2 of his slaughtered ladies.
Did you just go...
I heard that.
So I'm saying here, please, he's been ridiculing, saying he is the true Ripper, although he's aware that there is another that is in his time that is tried to emulate, and so two Rippers in actual fact, but only one, the true first Ripper, comes in visitation here.
And he's here now?
Yes, he's in this energy of this place.
Nobody knew who Jack the Ripper was?
Yes.
And you're saying that
there
were 2. This is the first one?
This is the first one.
Is there any way you can ask Sam what his name is? Who was that?
That was Richard, I think.
Yes. No, it wasn't. I heard
from over there.
Something, and I like a whisper.
Yeah.
No, I heard a sigh. Is there
one.
any way you can ask Sam what his name is? Who was that?
The other Ripper in his time moved from the south to the north of England. And he said, you will get your evidence and your proof because he was brought to justice, not in this jail, not in this dungeon. He was taken to from custody into the assizes, into the underground. In where? Say it that way? St. George's Hall. St. George's Hall where? St. George's Hall, Liverpool. St. George's Hall, Liverpool, the second Ripper, was tried not for this, not for the murders, for something else. He was the second Ripper. Thank you, Sam, thank you.
This early encounter with an unsavoury male would certainly link to this once poverty-stricken area of London. But had Derek really hit upon one of history's most notorious and elusive characters? A brutal 19th century murderer whose identity still remains as veiled and controversial in our modern age. And who is the supposed copycat killer? The search for truth continues at the London Dungeon.
You wouldn't know, would you? How would you know anything about it?
Our investigation at London's dungeon had got off to a sensational start. With Derek sensing that this mock criminal crypt attracts the soul of the legendary Jack the Ripper, we eagerly awaited to see if this would be the only high-profile figure to emerge.
As we come in here, it's like a group of men. Not one, not two, a group of them. And it's like as if they're discussing, they're talking. I feel as if they're covered up in, it's like the hats. They're definitely soldiers. And I feel from this area, at some point in time, something was discussed, majorly discussed. No doubt Cromwell himself in overthrowing or doing something so major to the part of our history in England, so important, and it happened here in this area.
Which Cromwell, though?
Yeah, what's the first name?
Yeah, what's the first name?
Is it Oliver? Oliver Cromwell. I feel right to the present day, or actually, they would be heard here. They would audibly, it's maybe like sounds of footwork, a lot of it, voices. Can you hear something?
Oh, God, I'm sorry. I just heard. Did you just whisper, it's me?
Did you, after Derek said footwork, did you say footwork?
No.
That's what I heard.
Then this group, I feel right to the present day, are actually, they would be heard here.
Oh God!
I don't like it.
No, but we can listen back to all of these things.
Yeah.
Oh, how exciting! I keep hearing these things. That's great that you're hearing them as well, because people can't say I'm mad.
Derek's time in the Jack the Ripper area had delivered another name of great historical significance, which had given us much to think about. And with our cameras switched to night vision, David Wells enters the seemingly endless chasm of darkness and death.
I've got a man, a woman and a child, and they're kind of standing in a row. So there's the man, the woman and the child. And that to me is a symbol that they're a family, that they're together. He's angry. He's angry because he wasn't provided for. He wasn't looked after. He wasn't cured. And it seems to be a class thing because of where he lived, because of what he did, which was, I think, what did you do? Well, he scavenged, is what he's saying. So he, a bit of this, a bit of that, did whatever.
Have you got a voice link with him now? Is he talking to you?
Yeah. He's, well, talking to me is an understatement. I mean, he's shouting at me. He's more...
do an impression of what you're hearing. Do an impression.
Okay.
Shout, do it.
It's kind of like, it's as if he will see me and see my clothes and consider that I have finery, therefore I'm everything he doesn't like. So he's dismissing me. He's like, well, what would you know? He's kind of like, well, you wouldn't know, would you? How would you know anything about it? It's kind of, and I'm trying to empathise with him in my head. And it's almost like he's a pusher, he's a shover, he's a nudger. And anyone he considers to have more, he would just like, woof at them. But he's doing this, he's like, why do you do that? He's touching these, moving these, he's rattling things.
Yeah.
Why would you do it? Why? You know, so he's angry about it all. He's shoving people around. He might rattle these around, knock things up and down. So he's pissed off, basically.
Can you ask him his name?
His name is... It's like Cuthbert. It's Cuthbert. Okay. I would say it's definitely Cuthbert. And I asked him his surname, and he said, doesn't have one as far as you're concerned. It's like, well, I don't have one because only people with finery have surnames.
Right.
You know, it's Mr. this and Mr. that. He's gone, it's Mr. this, it's Mr. that, it's Mr. the other. But I'm not a Mr. You know, I'm no Mr.
Right.
Maybe he could tell you the names of the other members of his family at some point. That'd be useful.
The wife is Maria, and the child is none of my business. Exactly what he said. Child is none of my business. I'm asking why he didn't go into the light. He said, this is exact words, he said, light, shite.
Really?
Nice. I think that's a lack of faith.
Come on, Cuthbert, if you're here, please do something. Let us know that you're here in this room with us now. Maybe we can help you. Talk through David, communicate through David. He's here, we can help you. We can help you, your wife, your child, to move on, maybe leave this place. I know you've chosen to stay, but maybe we can help you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, he can hear you. Can you just tell, this is my friend Yvette, because he wants to know who you are. He actually said, the words he said was, you're too late with your help.
I'm too late with my help.
Too late with your help.
Okay, fine.
Sorry.
So, had David touched upon the poverty for which this part of South London gained a despicable reputation many years ago? It is true that slums surrounded the area, and any souls that still remain may not be too appreciative of the way that their sorry lives came to an abrupt end. But would such danger, disease and desperation still exist the further we travelled?
There's someone else here and I can't quite get my finger on it because it's a shadowy figure. This is someone I became aware of in the last place we were in, but I think I had crossed him over with who we were talking to. Now he's become much stronger. Now what's really dominant about this man is has disfigurement in the right-hand side of his face. And I think an eye may be missing. So it's almost like he has a scar here. I'm trying to get more of a story when he was here, why he was here, why he's still here. and it's almost like it's making me want to drop. It's making me want to shut my eye because it's so, you know, the astral's so powerful. I'm actually just going to let that happen because it might help me form a link with him. You always find when there is a lot of activity that there will be stronger astrals, and I mean more controlling of the group that are here. And he seems to be that. He seems to be more controlling. He's calling the rest of them cretins. That's the word he used, cretins, which I would have thought was quite a modern word, but you know, that's the word he's using. I can't change that. He's actually saying kings, queens, noblemen, prostitutes, and common tarts have all walked here. He's saying to me, who are you looking for? So he sees me as someone who's searching specifically for someone else. So I'm just going to suggest I'm not looking for anyone. I'm happy for whoever comes to me. And he's telling me that that's a dangerous thing to say, saying that's a dangerous thing to say. So then I mean, respectfully asking that he guides me then, that if there's, you know, if he can help me, even tell me who he is. He's called me a soul catcher. He said, but you know, if you're a soul catcher, who are you looking for? So I think he thinks I'm trying to find specific souls.
So what period is he from?
He seems medieval to me. He's dressed again in rags, I mean in tatters really, and yet, you know, the funny thing, even with the disfigurement and that he's got a kind of attitude, he's actually not a bad character. You know, he looks worse than possibly he is. He's one of what we might call a rough diamond nowadays. You know. He's a very swift one, this one. He's not what you call your normal astral. He knows a lot more than an astral would. So if you crossed tomorrow, you would know much the same as you would know. This one knows a lot more. He's more of an intermediary. You know, he's well aware of how things work as far as spirituality goes. I have to be honest, I've never, in all the investigations I've done, come across such a strong, powerful being. It's almost like he's more than an astral. He's more like a guide to us, you know. He's not a guide I recognise. He's not one of my guides, most definitely not. And I don't think he's associated with anyone particularly in the crew. But the name he's given me is Balthazar. Now, to me, that conjures up images of extreme knowledge and wisdom. It's not. It's a very powerful name.
Okay. Do you think he'll stay with us throughout the night?
I think he will. I think he's very interested. I just wish you could see him because his energy is spectacular. It's not astral energy. It's not, you know, Mrs. Brown from 33 Acacia Avenue, this one. He is quite something.
Greeted by an energy that David describes as knowledgeable but controlling, disfigured and disgruntled, we were left wondering if any harmonious souls did exist here. But surrounded by disease, death and depression, we'd all soon realise that the worst was yet to come.
What, should we go back? What was that?
Oh my God. Shit.
Street SE1, a series of railway arches that now act as the imposing and intimidating London dungeon. This hidden gem depicts some of the city's most gruesome tales, yet few, if any, are known to have actually taken place on this land. Our psychics have now given us their sensory feelings on the eclectic mixture of energies that are thought to still frequent here. But what would the night vigils offer to the rest of the team? Tonight has given us the opportunity to invite along Fred Batt, who has appeared on 2 previous Southern investigations. Not only is he knowledgeable on this part of London, he has seen ghosts in his home and work, and as a child even used to play amongst these railway arches. So whilst David, Carl, Stuart and Fred headed into a disused storage area, I led Derek, Richard, John and Ian further along the dungeon floor.
As we walked up the stairs, I got this feeling as if a rope was around my neck, as if I'm being strung up. So I feel people were strung up here, very close by here, in its time. Might even be from this beam here.
As you stopped then to say that, I started feeling
Well, I felt a lot around my neck here as I come up the steps.
As Derek started saying that, I was scratching my neck. Strange, I don't want to feel that again.
Where should we situate ourselves?
Somewhere dark.
If there's anyone here who'd like to make their presence known, could you make a noise, show yourself? You touch one of us?
Just when you started to talk then, I was actually pointing where Fred was. And I think something went across the screen.
Do you know something?
Oh, something there. Cool, Bennett. There's something floated right in front of you then, Fred.
Oh, yeah, so I get there.
Another one.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, as we're coming back into this atmosphere, it's like it hits me again. I know it's only the residual, but this rushing up and down here at someone, they're not walking, he's not running, but he's at speed, and I'm surprised that we're not actually feeling, all of us now, we're not feeling this like energy that's here.
Is there anybody here? Are there any astral beings here in this building with us, in this place now?
Show yourself as a light anomaly. If that was you that did it then, could you do it again?
Please, we don't mean you any harm. I want to talk to you.
Present yourself so I can talk to you.
What was that? What the hell was that?
That was right over in that corner.
Right in that corner.
What was that?
Make a noise for us again. Show yourself as a light anomaly. Wouldn't be rats, would it?
No.
It sounds like something being thrown.
There's a male energy, a man around us, please. Can you come forward? Try and talk to us. There's a woman here, or women, please, can you try and talk to us?
How do you feel over there, Fred?
It's very cold.
Was it colder than it is over here?
You can't get any further than this. There's loads of rubbish and stuff. It's much colder up here than it is down there. There's more archways here as well.
Is there anybody here in this room that wishes to communicate with us? Please do so. By moving something, making a sound, throwing an object at the wall.
Is that you?
No, it's not us at all.
That was a bit of a noise, wasn't it?
I'm still concerned about this possessed car thing.
Oh my god.
That was right down, you can't even get up there.
That's just mad.
Is it here? Wait, was it from here?
Oh, what was that movement there? I just saw a shadow go across the floor.
Yeah, there's a shadow there.
Yeah, I saw.
Is it someone physical?
I saw. Like something walking across the floor.
It was a shadow. I saw it. It was a shadow. Here.
Yeah, I saw movement.
Did you? It was like some...
Was that a voice then?
Yeah, they're in that bit there.
What bit?
Is there anyone in?
Yeah, they're in there.
Yeah, but the shadow was here.
It was?
And it moved, didn't it?
Yeah, across.
Well, that's my problem with things being thrown at us. Is that at least with something that is in the distance, you kind of think, well, fair enough, it's not going to hurt us. But something that's thrown directly at us.
Well, yeah, you could be standing there waffling on, doing a seance, doing the do, and all of a sudden
I just thought I saw something over there.
thrown at your head.
There's no one else in here with us, is there?
No.
Crying out loud, I'm sure I saw a dark, like a shadow. I thought someone was standing there and just moving
We're the only
in
ones
that corner.
here.
Oh, this isn't nice at all, is it?
No.
This is getting worse by the minute.
If you're still here, can you show yourself? Can you do something for us? Throw something again. Throw any orbs. There you go.
God, Bennett.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Something else just landed down there again.
Something did. Look at the dust coming up.
Where?
Something's definitely landed,
Anyway, I've not looked.
and that is close to us. And the beauty of that is that we're all accounted for. I was right next to David,
Oh yeah.
so I can account for David. I can count, obviously, if you two had thrown anything, it would have actually come through us.
Yeah.
As we come through that last area, I heard, okay, but this was mental. I heard a little, I couldn't tell whether it was a little boy or a little girl, as we come under something, and I heard, London Bridge is falling down, falling down, London Bridge is falling down, London Bridge is falling down, look at the heads, look at the heads, look at the heads. And it was a little child. London Bridge is falling down, falling down.
Where's that plague guy? He's there, isn't he?
Behind me, behind me.
We should ask out here. God, it stinks.
Do something else for us. Other members, other people will be in here shortly when we go. So you're going to do something for them? We hope so. Hopefully you might show yourself.
Did you hear that?
No. What was it, Carl? Leave?
Yeah.
Are there any astral beings here? If there are, please can you give us a sign? If there are any children here, if there's a little... There it is again. Look.
That was me.
Watch.
Okay.
Ah. No, do you know what I think that is?
Is that
There's
that
a light with the material at the top of it.
Very,
Yeah.
very buried, yeah.
Yeah,
There.
yeah. That's where it'll be then.
Oh, I just lost my balance then.
You all right?
Did you?
Dizzy.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
You sure? You all right, John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was going to fall over.
Oh, how weird.
If you'd like us to leave, do something for us now so that we know that you are definitely here and you definitely like us to go, because we're going nowhere until you give us that sign.
Colin, if that's you that made the noise in my ear, if it wasn't... I just saw something white move across there. Where? Where? Right behind you, over there.
Oh.
Right. I felt a shiver go right the way through me then. There's something white moved just across where the rubbish is there. Jesus Christ.
I'm getting an impression to my collarbone area.
Yeah.
As if my collarbone's being pressed back. That's weird. That is strange to me.
Maybe it's footsteps. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Heels?
Yeah.
Did you hear it?
Sounded like heels tapping on the floor, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
1, 2.
It was just like a white shadow. It was incredible. Well, should we go back? What was that?
Oh my God.
Shit.
Okay, we'll be leaving then.
An hour into each vigil, we decide to take a brief pause in our investigation. But the early signs had proved promising, most notably in an area that usually lies out of bounds to public use. Was this merely the movement of loose debris unwittingly disturbed by an ever-vigilant crew, or were these distinct and distant sounds the signs that someone didn't want us around? A myriad of walls and exhibits have made London's dungeon a far from comfortable setting for the most haunted crew. Surrounded by depictions of sickness and slaughter, we were, just like thousands of tourists, literally locked into our very own chamber of horrors, and the first few vigils had provided some initially interesting evidence. Ever eager to delve further into this massive maze, we launch a three-pronged investigative attack at the east end of the building, which had so far proved extremely active. Whilst Derek, Richard, Ian and Alex entered the Jack the Ripper area, Carl sentenced himself to a spell in the holding cells. Meanwhile, the morbid mortuary awaited our guest Fred Batt, myself and the rest of the crew.
If there's anyone here now, could you please maybe move one of the objects in the room, touch one of us, show yourself. We don't mean you any harm. We just want to prove your existence. Make a noise. Just prodded me in the back there.
Did they?
Something just prodded me right in my lower back. You're right, Fred. Yeah.
You're swaying
Swaying a bit. Yeah.
Oh!
Fire! What was that? Yeah. Oh! Fire! I'm sorry we got jumpy, but it was really good. Thank you for letting us know you're there. Can you do something like that again?
That's depicted like gallows.
Yeah.
They're not real.
No.
They're not real.
No.
Because, however, on saying they're not real, I feel in this area there would have been people stronger.
Right.
It's like saying, you know, I don't know how to get a feeling. Do you hear that?
Hello?
It's like saying, you know, I don't know how to get a feeling. Do you hear that?
Hello?
And then, did you hear it like a woman's girl's
Yes.
voice?
Yeah, I did.
It sounded like a vet.
I thought it was, but...
Okay. Can we move into that area
Yeah.
with the, you know, just to see whether it's going to become a little while now of an energy at the back of us. It's like it's waiting. Yeah. Really?
I feel a bit really kind of uncomfortable actually.
Yeah. As if, you know, not someone's ready to pounce, but, you know, just at the back there. Come forward, coward.
All right, you, Richard?
Me? Well, I'm glad I've got my back against the wall. Anyway, I tend to feel, again, that there seems to be almost something somewhere in the dark, in the shadows. It's not very cold, and I am quite uneasy, to say the least.
That was hanging out. Just a look of fear and terror. Now, come on, at home, you tell me that you wouldn't be scared walking with all those people behind you. Especially when they're supposed to move. It did just move then. Thought somebody just touched my back. Is there anyone in his room with me? I should go back, shouldn't I? I've just heard a door opening and there's no door here. I thought there was a door in this corner. It was a big squeak. There's nothing there. There's no door there. I'm quite sure what's behind it. Well, now I'm in the tiniest hole you could possibly imagine. The door shut on me. And I'm going to climb some ladders and I don't know where they're going to. I'll put the ladder there's in front of me. Oh, I'm now judge and juror. Well, judge anyway. These are the jurors. Cosy lot they are too. I really don't like it. I'll go out and I don't like it at all. Go that way. Should go that way. I never know. You never know where's the best way to go. These things. Ghost is going to be in front of you or waiting behind you. What was that?
I know you're only children.
Are they? Children?
Children, yeah. Can you throw something in the room, move something in the room that makes a noise? Join your energies together. I'm getting a big old breeze around my legs now.
Somebody just kicked me in the leg.
Something's just thrown. Something's just thrown itself at me.
As my leg went forward, something kicked me in the back of the leg.
God. You all right?
Yeah, no, it's like that and bent my knee.
Flipping it. They're having fun, aren't they? Are they having a good giggle?
Yeah, they're around us, so I guess they probably are.
It was my leg that kicked yours.
Really? I wondered what that was. I thought something was being thrown
when
at
someone
us.
sort of hits you in the back of the knee, it was like that.
And does that, yeah.
Can they
Thank you.
Thank you. Can you throw something for us?
Come on, I know you're trying to egg each other on, and there's one of you who's close to doing something. Go on, do something. We won't mind. Make us laugh.
Why don't you sing Ring a Ring of Roses?
I didn't want to. It's been in my head, but I don't want to do it.
The other vigils that took place during our investigation included the numerous cameras that Kieran additionally set up. They failed to add any evidence collected, but was it evidential proof? On several occasions, various members of the crew were subjected to intense feelings of physical interaction, from being touched, spoken to, or more worryingly, attacked. Were all of these innocuous sounds from the dead of the night, or had the centuries of souls that once walked these streets chosen to make their happiness, or more likely, anger, known? Had the London Dungeon justified our investigation?
I have to admit that when I arrived at the London Dungeons, I wasn't sure about the place. We're talking of a place that's full of reenactment rather than real history. But of course, we were told the place was haunted, and after the night there, I know that it is.
At London Dungeons, what was of interest was the information that the mediums came up with. In Derek's walk around and the information he came up with, there were some inaccuracies. Came up with information about Oliver Cromwell, of which there is no association with that particular location. Also, he came up with interesting information about Jack the Ripper. Now, my feelings about this are that there's nothing about Jack the Ripper in the actual location in terms of historical fact. However, if he was picking up any sort of psi or ESP information from the exhibits that were there about Jack the Ripper, even then the information that he was coming up with, there is no proof of it. He didn't actually mention the name, but the two suspects that he came up with were implied to be Prince Eddie and James Maybrick.
St George's Hall, Liverpool, the second Ripper, was tried not for this, not for the murders, for something else. He was the second Ripper.
I was actually present when the author of the Diary of James Maybrick admitted that he had completely faked it. So therefore we know James Maybrick is not a suspect at all in Jack the Ripper case.
Thank you, Sam, thank you.
At one point, when Derek was coming up with information about Jack the Ripper and his victims, he stated a fact. The fact was that one of the victims was murdered within 500 yards of the spot where he was standing.
And that is definitely the man who took away many lives in the close area here. It's got to be close here.
We know that that is an impossibility because we are several miles from Whitechapel, where all of the victims were killed. So he was inaccurate on that point. One of the other rooms in the London Dungeons was home to a lot of phenomena that did coincide with previous eyewitness testimony. Previous eyewitnesses had actually reported poltergeist activity, things being thrown around.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
And when there was a vigil conducted in the stagecoach area, noises were heard, things were thrown around, and at one point a piece of wood did actually land amongst the vigil on the floor. Unfortunately, there's no way of verifying whether the wood may have come from the ceiling, merely an actual piece that was dislodged and fell down amongst the vigil. That would be my rational explanation for what occurred in that particular circumstance.
And at the end of the night, it was a great investigation. It was an extremely scary place, but then again, it would be with all those horrible things looking at you. Some very strange things happened. A lot of them we can't explain. So, in my opinion, the place is definitely haunted. And you never know, we might just go back again.
Murder, misery and morbid mannequins mean that thousands flood through these dungeon doors year after year. But how sure can we be that this building truly holds all of these memories? Until next time, sleep tight.